Hello, I'm Bullhorn Betty. This is Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We just got off the live and I got frustrated with trying to set up my green screen, so I decided I would do some research on Anna Kepner and run a story here on Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. I'm Bullhorn Betty. I cover true crime. We're covering the case of Anna Kepner. Anna Kepner is an 18-year-old high school senior from Titusville, Florida, just in my backyard. She died while abroad. Let me put my stuff down so I can read this. She died while aboard a cruise ship, Carnival Horizon, which departed from Miami and returned to the port of Miami. The arrival back into Miami was on Saturday morning. Reporting states November 8th, when the ship docked and the death was discovered. The Federal Bureau of Investigation is investigating the incident. The cause of death has not been publicly released. Anna was described by family as a people person, outgoing, energetic. She had just taken a test to join the military and was planning her career path after graduation. She also had certifications. Her family says she was a scuba certification and boating license. Her community in Titusville, Brevard County, is in mourning, and local groups have posted tributes. These are the details still unknown about this particular case. Hey guys, it's nice to see you, Lisa, Dee, Robin. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies. Don't forget to hit the like button and share this around. So here are the key details that we are unsure about when it comes to Anna's case. Exactly when her death occurred, the time of day. Aboard the ship is not clearly disclosed. So we heard, based on her obituary, we know that she lost her life on 10/7. Okay? And this is familiar, kind of ties into our Ashley Buzzard, because on 10/7 was when she rented the car and took off to Nebraska. So 10/7 is when, according to Anna's obituary, which we read on the main channel earlier this morning, she died on 10/7. I don't know when the vessel departed, but it does, I think it said it departed, doesn't really say when it departed. It just says that it arrived back to the port of Miami on November 8th. So I'm sure we can find that out fairly clear, but I don't have that at the moment. And it just sparked that because of the time of date. So they've got her deceased as 10/7. But again, the time of date, that we do not know when that happened. The location where the ship, on the ship she did die, and where she was found has not been made public. Whether any other individuals were involved or whether foul play is suspected has not been confirmed, but it seems that it's a real possibility. No official cause of death, natural, accidental, or homicide has been released, but because of the FBI immediately being at the port of Miami, it does indicate that this is not a death that was natural or accidental. This appears to be a little more probably homicide, or at least foul play suspected. And the other thing, I know that we were talking about this in our main channel, is whether she was, how she was traveling, who she was traveling with. And somebody in our channel came in and said she was traveling with her family. But I've confirmed that who she was traveling with has not been disclosed publicly. So we don't know whether she was traveling alone or with others. And details of her last known activities aboard the ship are not publicly available, so we do not have any factual knowledge of those things. But there has been online speculation, as many of you guys know, and some of my questions I've been asking, does anybody know this? Does anybody know that? And of course, we're all kind of learning a lot at the same time, but we really don't have a lot of great information available to us in one spot. So we're constantly having to, look at multiple sources of information to try to make heads or tails of what is going on. Hey, Faye, it's nice to see you. So here are what the rumors and some online discussions have to say. These are unverified and must be treated as such. There's a Reddit post, a Reddit thread that's on the the Reddit / cruise. And one user claimed that she thinks she was assaulted. Someone on the ship said they found her remains wrapped in a sheet under her bed. Wrapped in a sheet under her bed. So, with this being on a cruise ship, the FBI being involved, I think we're going to have some DNA very quickly. I don't think they're going to be able to, the sheet, somebody had to touch that sheet, somebody had to push that sheet into that. I don't know how readily available latex glove and hazmat suits are on a cruise liner like that. But I think that with some of this, if these details are true, remember they're unverified and must be treated as such. If this is true, I think we're at least gonna know that there is some DNA, most likely DNA. The sheet gives me the precarious, some people get on these ships, especially when they have open bars, drink, meet people, bring them back to their room. Is that one of these things where this was kind of a one-night stand that got out of hand, or maybe they were just kind of kicking it as friends and the person wanted something more? The sheets is what gets me. The sheets. Was she dressed? Was she undressed? Unclothed? Sheets. I'm thinking of sheets. Why would she be wrapped in a sheet? So I'm kind of thinking more motivation, cruise ship, woman wrapped in a sheet, just trying to play this tape through, trying to put some pieces together here. So it seems that it might be possible. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we found out she was unclothed. I mean, she's wrapped in sheets. She's not wrapped in the blanket. She's wrapped in sheets. Allegedly. Appreciate you. 5 months. Well, we appreciate you as well. Absolutely. Excuse me. So, unverified claim 1, wrapped in sheet under her bed. This claim is unverified. No reputable news outlet has confirmed any of this so far. Now, there is another rumor. Some post mentions that her last social media activity was a selfie and a reflective caption on TikTok about happiness and relationships, which people are connecting her state of mind. So with this TikTok post, let's see if I can find that TikTok post. Takes me to the Sun magazine. This damn phone is so touchy. Give me just a second. So, I mean, you can see her. She's, she is posing on the boat. So she's very active on social media here. I'm not seeing what the post, I just see, has been identified as the woman found dead on the Carnival cruise. She's taking, this is a cute little picture. Good gracious, with all the fucking notifications. Golly. Son, this is the crap that drives me nuts with all these publications. Cut out the frickin'... I mean, I know we gotta all make money, but for flip's sake. Just jamming up the whole thing with just nothing but advertisements. Just nothing but advertisements. This is so annoying when you're trying to do something. How can people read this? Every time you scroll down, it pops up to the top. Who reads this? So here's another one of her posing for the camera. And that's 3 of 3. And then does it again. It just pops up on me. So, it just popped up on me on the 3rd time. I'm on a Sun article. I'm on your app. Okay? I have tried to read the article, literally scroll down, and every time I scroll down, a new advertisement pops up and shoots my thing all the way back up to the top, making it very difficult to even read your article. Good gracious. If you were sad, she'd make you laugh. Okay, we've already got that. I'm still trying to find the post that she says about the relationship because I'm not seeing that. We see her beautiful posts, but they don't have the links to the actual they don't have links to the actual TikTok. They got the photos off the TikTok, but they don't have the statements that she has with the TikTok. I'll try to locate those, okay, folks? I'll try to locate those. I gotta get out of here. It's getting too frustrating for me. We'll get back on my chat GPT. Some speculation points to the fact that the FBI is involved, which they are, and such involvement sometimes suggests criminal or suspicious circumstances. So I do have a funny feeling we are going to ultimately find out that she is, in fact, wrapped in a sheet under her bed, and that's what prompted the FBI to be at the port when they arrived back. But it's very concerning for me because I know how ships work, and not all the times do they stop their voyage just because there's a life-threatening situation or a deceased body on board. As unfortunate and as insensitive as that sounds, it is not uncommon for ships to continue their voyage and not interrupt the rest of their guests. Now, with this being potentially something of concern, like her being wrapped in a sheet under the, I would think that homicide would supersede their voyage. I'm very interested in finding out about whether their voyage proceeded or if it ultimately turned around to get to a U.S. port. I'm going to be looking for some information. So if you hear of any news articles that have that information in it, please send that over to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Bullhornbetty@gmail.com. So given all the known facts, the involvement of the FBI suggests since the incident occurred abroad, a vessel in maritime jurisdiction, U.S. shores, returned to a port of entry, there may be legal or criminal investigative angle here. But because so little is released publicly, no cause of death, no official description of events, any detailed narratives, assault, fall, medical, emergency, this all remains speculative. We have nothing concrete, and of course the FBI is involved. You know how much they're going to really release to us. I'm hoping that they release us something. I think it's important that they release something. I'm pretty, this new FBI, I think they are a little more transparent than prior FBIs. So I am a little more confident we will get some information released earlier in this for this particular case, but only time will tell. I do believe the news, mainstream media is going to be pushing very hard to get some answers on this young, beautiful girl here, this 18-year-old high school, not even graduated from high school. What a tragedy. The Reddit rumors that she is wrapped in a sheet under her bed is serious in nature, but there is no confirmed source or official document supporting that statement. So it has to be treated as hearsay unless an investigative report emerges. So we're keeping an eye on, the suspicious activity. Hey, Pebbles, it's nice to see you, love bug. But we're not sure if and when some of these details will surface. Her last social media post is likely more about personal reflection necessarily than connected to her death. People may read into it than it is warranted. So I need to find this social media post that she has, and I haven't found it yet. Give me just a second. Let me see if we can locate this social media post. Let me see if I can find her on TikTok. I'm not sure if I will be able to find her on TikTok, but it seems like she posted on TikTok. So Anna Kepner.
What was supposed to be a fun trip from Miami to the Caribbean turned into...
Okay, I found her profile. So let me see if I can make heads or tails. So it says, you deserve to be happy, but if you ain't with me, then never mind. And this is the photo. And then you can see like the prints up here. So you deserve to be happy, but if you ain't with me, then never mind. So it does maybe boyfriend. But that's the only social media I got. And then the next one's over here, and it says, and if I stare at you and give you a look and I don't like you, whoop-de-doo-doo-doo-doo. So she's got a personality. But it looks like only one... I don't know if this is in her room or not. Let's see what it says here. Haha, I'm not kidding. If you know, you know. Everybody's writing rest in peace, rest in peace. Let me see how long ago that was from. I go all the way down to the bottom, see how far, when that was posted. Everybody's just, you know, sending condolences, so I can't even see how old this is. Oh, that's really sad. Rest easy, beautiful. So sorry you and your family, to you and your family at this time. Rest easy, beautiful. I didn't know you well in person, but you have such a beautiful soul. I'm hoping and praying that your family gets the justice that you deserve. Rest in peace. Rest easy. May you fly and protect those you love. Rest in peace. So let me just keep going. It looks like this is her account. We have a lot of different photos here that have been on here for a while from her, but only one from the cruise. It seems like she might have had another account because I saw another one on the outside of the cruise. So let me see if we can find another. Anna Kepner. She's definitely not coming right to the top of the page for this one, so this is going to be a little bit harder for me to find her on here, but let me just keep going back here and see if I can find out any information on her. I'm not. And then okay, see. Chantal Kepner. Oh, that's got to be her stepmom. This is the only interview we conducted and the only interview we will be doing at this time. There's Chris's exact words. Okay, so we do have a statement from the family, and it's on this article right here because a family member of hers, it looks like her stepmother, is the one that made the statement. And we've heard the statements. When she walked into a room, she lit it up. So those are his exact words. This father must be absolutely devastated. It sounds like it's a stepmother, which, you know, stepmoms are there by choice. Um, she has a lot of great little pictures. I'll take the background off once I find. Is that on the cruise? No, that looks like Ron John. That must be somewhere. Looks like possibly somewhere in Orlando, but I haven't been to Titusville, so I don't really know what Titusville looks like. Hmm. I'll keep looking and see if I can find some social media. Um, oh, here she is. Oh, it looks like maybe somebody just started a new page for her or something. I don't know. Because that it just doesn't have all the people that you would expect it to be. No. All right, so once I find that, we did find her page on TikTok, and again, it's just sad, but I don't see the cruise ship photos. Like there was, oh, here's something. I guess these might have all been. No. So it doesn't, this is from 9/29. When was she, so this was from a different cruise, it seems like. Do we know if her family takes cruises often? Because this is from 9/20. What are we in? We're in November. Right? So she would have lost her life on November 7th. And this photo was taken, like everybody's been using this photo right here as the ship photo. And everybody's talking about, it says, my ex said that me and my best friend weren't allowed to hang out because he didn't like her or something like that. And they said that she was talking about a boyfriend or something. And this is not in showing this ship photo, but this ship photo here is from September 2029. So this is not from this is not a ship. This looks like it might be a bridge. She might be it looks like she might be on a bridge, not a ship. And that was from, yeah, she seems to be, you know, pretty comfortable on social media. She likes to put all these songs behind her, which we can't. Oh, here. she has fun jumping up and down. I'm probably gonna have to turn some of the music off. Let me turn it down so I don't get hit up on here. I can do a few seconds of it, but I can't do too much of it. There's, you know. So it looks like a fun person, you know. I don't know when she got the tattoo, but she's had the tattoo for a while, it looks like. This is from 510. So this is her account. She's just a beautiful young lady. She seemed to be very happy with whatever she was doing. It looks like she goes on Carnival cruises a lot, folks. I think she might have been with her family. Because, I mean, this appears to be a cruise right now, and this is from May. This is from May. So, I don't know. It to me, it seems like she... Yeah, because this says viral Carnival cruise. It's hashtag Carnival cruise, but the date of it's from May. So she must travel with her family. They must be. I know that people do. They do all these cruises and stuff, but it looks like they've done a lot of cruises, probably been on a lot of cruises and never had anything happen to them. Hey Pebble. Oh, let me go through here and say hi to. I see we got some more people coming in. Hey guys, we're just on here because I was gonna do my green screen, which I did try. And of course, the videos that I got are for Windows, and I've got a Mac, and so I was getting frustrated because I couldn't do the first exercise, but he's got 3 other ones there, so I decided, I'd come here, go live, learn a little more about Anna's case, and then we'll hit the green screen again. But when I felt like I was ready to break my computer, I figured we needed to talk about a case. So here we are. Here we are. She's wearing a Carnival Cruise sweatshirt, and she's posting about Carnival Cruise in May, and it looks like she is on a cruise. So I have to assume if she's on a cruise already again, then her family must enjoy cruises. It might be just something they do in their pastime. And this is not, this is second nature to her and her family, it appears. I mean, this is a lot of cruises in a short period of time. I mean, we're only in like maybe twice a year, it appears that they might be going on cruises. That's nice, I mean, they know how to, break free from the mundane every little bit, I find that people say that that's successful when you take a little break every 6 months. It refreshes yourself. But I've been in stateroom on cruise ship, and there's been 9-10 inches of clearance under the. Oh wow, gotcha. Hey Alpine Angel Pebbles, it's nice to see you. I think I said hi to you, Melanie, but if I didn't, hello. The real me too. It's nice to see you, Pebbles. Brenda, it's nice to see you. Faye, Alcoholic, hey. Donna, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. Beth, it was the first time she'd ever been on a cruise, is what family is saying. No, I'm showing a post right here from May, and she is clearly wearing a Carnival cruise, and that looks like it's a window outside of a ship. So, and she's got hashtag Carnival down here. She's wearing a Carnival cruise. Let me see if I can take the background. Let me take the background off. There we go. Just so you can see. There it is. Carnival cruise sweatshirt. You can look out the window. You can see that she's on a boat. And she's got hashtag Carnival down at the bottom. And if you look at the date, it's from May. It's from May 10th. Can you see that down there? May 10th. So I don't think that's accurate. I think her family and her take multiple cruises. Right now there's a cruise in the ocean has experienced a lot of wind and damage to the ship. I hope they get back safe. Oh wow. That is scary. No, she wasn't working. This was a trip she wanted to take when she turned 18. It's probably like a graduation gift. Yeah, but I've still been trying to figure out who she, because, obviously going here in May, and people saying that she was with her parents when all this happened, it makes me believe that, she perhaps was, perhaps her, I mean, like I said, I do know people that travel and do cruises a couple times a day. I think this realtor person that I used to work for did cruises multiple times a year with her husband. But they had money. They stayed top, like whatever it was first class everything. Like first class everything. It is sad. But I think my biggest concern is, who was on board with her, because if it was her family, obviously we know it's not the family. And then we have to think if it was just the family and not a larger crowd, then she obviously had to have met. As like just the details matter in this because it helps build the case, right? Because you got to problem solve here. If she's with her parents, it's most likely, I doubt it's her parents, right? Her parents gave her this wonderful life. I doubt they're the ones that wrapped her in a sheet and threw her under her bed, right? If that's the case, again, it's speculative at this point. But If she's with her family, then we have to look outside. We have to think that she met somebody. That she was. I've never been on a cruise ship, but I've watched a lot of them, and I know that there's different bars throughout the cruise ship. There's different places you can go hang out and meet people. There's different activities throughout the ship. You got the pool, you got dance clubs, you got a lot of different things happening that aspire to different people, whether you're there for the family, whether you're there with your significant other, whether you're there with your best friends and just looking to get down. It really depends. So they have, because you're out on the ship, they have to have different things that will entertain different people, the masses, right? Because not everybody's going to like the same thing. So it makes you wonder, did she meet somebody on one of these activities? And, maybe they just kind of kicked it and stuff like that, and it escalated. But if she was there, say, with a group of kids from school, did she have any relationships with them? See how that changes. So all these things of the why was she there and who was she with, really change the theories that can be built on why we're here and why she lost her life. Is it somebody she knows, or is it somebody she doesn't know? And that's where we're kind of at. Was her ex-boyfriend or a significant other on this trip with her? Because obviously, if there was, that's the prime suspect, right? But with the FBI, they're not telling us anything. They're not telling us if they had a suspect that came off the ship with them. They haven't told us, who was on the ship with her, when she was found. We know by an obituary when she lost her life. But that's it. We know nothing about any details, and I know it has to do with the fact that the FBI probably doesn't have that information. But if her family was on the boat, as hard as this stuff is, I am a firm believer, and this is just my belief. You take it and share it if you think it's right. But when families are going through something like this, law enforcement wants to keep a lot of stuff under wraps. And while I agree that certain things probably should be kept under wraps, certain details, in my opinion, parents should be screaming from the rooftop, because you want somebody looking into, you want independent minds. I'm sorry, time and time again, not that I'm criticizing law enforcement. I love law enforcement. I think that they get a bad rap for doing sometimes a thankless job. They put themselves in harm's way. They have a split second to react, and everybody wants them to be superhumans that they're not. And then, God forbid, they make a mistake. Usually their mistake costs somebody their life, so they're already having to deal with it, and then they have to worry about being prosecuted in a split second. Like, they have it's almost an impossible job that law enforcement, especially street cops, have. With that said, I live in the world of reality, and I know people make mistakes. I also know the mindset of law enforcement. They're very arrogant. They're trained inside a box. And that's one of the biggest problems that I have, is that inside the box training. And I understand why they do it, and it has to do with the courts. And they don't like anybody telling them what to do or going out over them, under them, or around them. They're very much control freaks. That's why they're successful as being detectives and running cases. They just like things the way they are. I get it. All right. But in my world, we're not doing the same thing they're doing. We're trying to achieve the same results, finding out who did what. But our jobs differ. Their jobs are trying to keep this stuff under wraps and strategically playing a hand to find the bad guy and ultimately put them in jail, and then also be very strategic in dealing with the defense attorney up until they get to trial. And again, that some of that goes away from the cops and onto the DA, but that's typically what theirs are. When it comes to us, we just care about getting the information and the bad guy behind bars. We will do anything. We will go down any rabbit hole. We will search. We will look at stuff that probably shouldn't be looked at or would be dismissed. We look at everything. A lot of times, as I've learned with cops, especially seasoned cops, they I don't want to say become complacent. I think that's a totally wrong vocabulary word to use, because it's not really complacency. It's that they have been on the job so much that I feel like they dismiss certain evidence because typically it's not useful. And I think when they do things like that, dismiss certain evidence or automatically assume that it isn't evidence, I think really does hinder investigations. And I see all too often, as officers become seasoned, they don't let the labs do their job. They make decisions before it gets to the lab, like not collecting it. And I think that has been one of the disservices that I can say that seasoned officers provide, is making the determination something isn't evidence. And I am opposite of that. I think collect everything, let the lab determine what is evidence and what is not evidence, and then once you figure out what you've got, put the case together and see what's lacking and what needs to be put in. But again, these are things that you can't tell law enforcement, because they're so used to doing things this one way, and they've been doing it this one way for so long. It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, and that's kind of where we get. And with all the new technology and stuff like that, a lot of the older law enforcement really have disdain for new, social media. Usually, the younger we have, the more palatable and the more they're trained to deal with social media. And so I really am starting to, whether you guys agree with this or not, I'm really starting to feel like our country, especially with all the new technology we have, I think we really need to be getting younger people in office. I think we need to get younger people. It's not that it's just that they are more savvy with all this stuff, and we want to utilize this stuff to its top notch ability. And I just feel like having to retrain an entire generation of people that are going to be retiring in a few years. I think they need to up their retirement package and get them moving out. I think we need some new blood coming in. And I'm talking about the FBI. I'm looking at these people. These people are in their 60s, late 50s, 60s, 70s, running these departments. I'm sorry. Listen, I love my people that are older being on here playing and talking to me. Okay, I want you guys retired and you've worked your entire life. I want you to have some semblance of enjoyment, in your golden years. And you're right. I don't have a choice to make that for you. You should be able to make your own decision. If you want to work until you're dead and in the grave, by God, that's your right. I agree with you and I support you on your right. But when you're running a country and there's a lot of technology and youthfulness would be an advantage, well, we're talking about a country, and we want this running at top notch with all, running on all cylinders. And I feel like we're being hindered by age in some respect. I want our politicians to be grounded in what reality is for the real people out here. The people that are older, you guys had your chance, okay? I've had my chance. It's time to hand the baton down, okay? It's time for us to hand the baton down. I'm even talking about younger than me. I'd like to see some 20 and 30-year-olds really getting involved, with some oversight of some 40 and 50-year-olds. But I think after 50, when you start getting into 60, it's time for you to go, okay? You've done your service, unless you're getting in for the first time, and you have a message that resonates with your people. But when it comes to these seasoned people that are in our politicians, seasoned politicians, it's time for them to get out. We need to have some fresh eyes, some thinking outside of the box, and some youthfulness. And I hope that we start getting some people that are going to start utilizing some of the new technology we have. And I know that there are a lot of people, but the learning curve some folks have to go through is just not fair. But they do it for the love of their job and their career. And I don't want somebody that's not ready to retire to be forced retired. But When it comes to our voting, there's no guarantees you're going to be voted back in. So I think that that's where we need to be taking those bites at those apples and start getting a younger political makeup in our country. I'm sorry, the old dogs are out. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm ready for the McConnells. That I'm ready for them all. The Pelosi's. It sounds like they're all about to be retired and set out to the pasture. It sounds like everybody on both sides of the aisle are getting tired of the old dogs. Okay, we're younger. We're a little more feistier. We all just want to go duke it out between us, right? We want the Democrats want to duke it out with the Republicans. The Republicans are sick and tired of the Democrats. We just want to go to the mattress, get done with it, move on, and let's get the country back up and running. But with all these old dogs, they want to sit there and shut the country down and hassle and haggle and stuff like that. We got no time for that. And guys, I'm going to tell you right now, this is preparation station. I would be prepared, because it sounds like the radical left-wing part of the Democrat Party, I'm going to talk to you guys like I'm going to talk to you guys, but they're going to be pissed if we don't have a appropriations bill by January. They will shut this country down again. I'm just going to tell you that, just like that. They will shut this country down in January 2026, if we don't have appropriations. So if you guys were tight at this shutdown, then you need to start taking what you can, $10 a week, $10 a month, whatever you can give, and set it aside in a bank account if you need assistance from our government for food or otherwise. I'm telling you that this was ugly, okay? And this fight is not over with. And if we do not have them with an appropriation bill that's voted on from the House, the Senate, back to the House, back to the Senate, back up to the President, if we don't have that process done by January, prepare for another shutdown. So if you struggle during this shutdown, you need to be preparing now for the January shutdown. Not that I want a January shutdown. I'm just telling you, the Republican side of the aisle that holds the majority of the votes, we will not give in to a $1.5 trillion. There's just no way. We will shut the country slap down. And you can hate us, you can be pissed off at us, but when we have $38 trillion in debt, there is no way in hell we're going to hand out another $1.5 trillion. Just, there's no way. Okay? The country is broke. And people need to realize that. We are broke. We need to get our debt paid down so we are sustainable again. So I'm telling you right now, just trust and believe. You can be pissed off at the Republicans all day long. It's not going to stop it. We will not hand them a $1 trillion. We're done wastefully spending the American people's money. Okay? Our services, the food stamps, Social Security for disability and stuff like that, that's given to American citizens. Okay? That is not for anybody that is not here lawfully and legally. Okay? And you guys have been screwed, and you guys are having the news tighten, especially on the most vulnerable population, because there was an entire party that was handing your benefits to illegal people. Okay? Driving down the benefits, the pool of benefits, and driving up the taxes for the American people. So you know who did that to you? The Democrat Party did that to you. All you people that are needing these things, that are American citizens, they did that to you. Okay? But we're done. We're not wastefully spending our money anymore. So just FYI. But please just, I don't want to get on a side, a complete crazy soapbox, but just be prepared for January. I don't know what's up the sleeve for the Democrats in January, but just be prepared. If you need extra food, you need to start hoarding some food, because January is going to be here before we know it. If you were short on funds, you need to start putting away some money every single month until January comes, because we don't know what's going to happen in January. You have got to be prepared for January. Okay, guys? Drill that in your head. If you're on services that were cut off, that are just now getting back to being restored, we have another round coming up in January 2026. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, I'm just saying, be prepared so when it does happen, you're not in dire straits like you were this time. Okay, we know that this is a tug and pull with our Democrat and Republican Party. We know that it's going to be a tug and pull, and we've got to prepare ourselves for that both ways. Okay, the Democrats shut down our government, Republicans have shut down our government. It's no fun. Especially to the people that are federal employees and on benefits. Okay, there's a lot of the majority of the country are not federal employees and are not on benefits, so it doesn't bother them one iota whether this country is open or shut. But for the people that it does matter to, it does matter to, and those are the people I'm speaking to. All right, guys, that really is what I have on Anna Hepler, or Kepler rather. Let me get back to that and make sure I'm not missing anything. Still unknowns. So let's go over the assessment. Because there's so little that is released publicly, no cause of death, no official description of events, we're kind of running blind here on what happened. We do have rumors about her being wrapped in a sheet under her bed. That's very, very concerning and definitely supports foul play and homicide. Her last social media was a personal reflection. We just read it. We found her social media. We read it. It seemed, I didn't take it any type of way. I just felt like it was a statement, something that I would do while I was out there. So, what to watch and next steps. So monitor statements from FBI. We're going to be looking at those, and we're going to be waiting, obviously, for the medical examiner. The medical examiner is going to have a lot of great information that can be useful in helping us kind of fill in some of the blanks. We're going to be looking for press releases either from Carnival Cruise or the FBI related to the investigation, or some other resources that were used for that investigation that might have a public information officer that might want to speak about their involvement. We're going to start looking into the public records once released, but we're kind of, again, flying blind here. But we have to be very careful because even like her being wrapped in a sheet under a bed has not been confirmed, and it's non-confirmed information, i.e. rumor, right? So we have to be very careful that we're identifying rumor in a case that's fluid like this. Nobody knows anything, very limited information. People are going to be coming out of the woodworks. I will tell you that it's journalistic integrity to have at least 2 sources. You want as many sources as you can to confirm information that you tout as fact, but for any journalist, which mainstream media as well as social media have not been practicing this cardinal rule for a really long time, at least a decade that I can see. But, when people say I have a source, it should be more than a source. It should be a couple of sources. If you have a couple of sources, like say, for example, let me give you an example. When we first heard that Kathy Bowersox in the Sebastian Rogers case was standing at Warsham's, many of us were thinking it was rumor, right? But then another person came up and told us the same rumor. And then another person came up and told us the same rumor. Now we have 3 independent sources that don't have any contact with one another giving us the same exact account. That elevates it. That is more in line with Kathy Bowersox without Warsham's at 5:30 in the morning, a half an hour before her step-grandson was reported missing. Pretty sus, if you ask me. Pretty sus. And I will tell you that didn't just happen 3 times. It happened over 6 times. 6 people that saw Kathy Bowersox up at Warsham's reported her being there. The last time that I saw, most of them said 5:30, so they must have been heading to work. But there was a gentleman that said, I think it was a gentleman. Is it a gentleman? I think it was the gentleman that said 5:45. So she was there for over 15 minutes that morning. And she was obviously there even longer than that. But that was the last account that I could get. That's significant. That means she wasn't there for any other purpose than to sit. You can't have somebody that sees her at 5:30 and somebody that sees her at 5:45 and multiple people in between the 5:30 and the 5:45 saying the exact same thing and her not being there for a solid 15 minutes at minimum. So that, and you know what? We're going to get into this once we get the green screen done and I can pull up the Weatherford leaked video or audio and this new one from Chris. We're going to listen to what Sonny says and how he says it, because right when they start talking about Kathy Bowersox being up at Warsham's that time of morning, when they start talking about it, you can hear Sonny getting a little nervous. He didn't want to talk about that. If you go back and listen to that, and you guys are probably already thinking, yeah, maybe I need to go back and listen. You guys know where to go get it. You go listen to how Sonny's behavior. You see him kind of, you hear him because you can only hear him. So you hear him kind of relax, la-di-da, giving them, something to satisfy them. I've dealt with a lot of Sonny Weatherfords, okay, so I know his MO. He didn't give him everything, but he gave him enough, just to satisfy him. But when they started diving in a little deeper, and they started bringing up facts to the case or going to the integrity of the case, in my opinion, Sonny knew what happened. I agree. We'd be a lot further along right now if Sonny was in charge. I guarantee that. And in all fairness, Sonny's a good old boy too. Okay, he was all part of that system. But see, he was, he's an older dog, so he knows when to hold him and when to fold him. He would have never come after me. He would have never let his officers come after me. I guarantee it. I know Sonny's like him. I know people. That's one of the benefits of me. I know people. I know people. I don't know how I know people. Well, I do know how I know people. I've come across so many people. I mean, even during COVID, I was around over 2 million people. I was going to a lot of events. I was going unmasked. But that was just what we did. It was protest. That's how Sonny knew, in my opinion. Yeah. I believe, but but if you listen to him, when they started talking about Kathy being up there, you start hearing a change in you can hear the change in his demeanor, not just his voice. You can hear the subtle change in his demeanor. You can almost hear the gears, while they're talking, the gears going on in his head, because he starts now, before he wasn't talking over him, now he's kind of talking over him a little bit. And then he starts talking about, well, I can't really talk about everything related to the case. You start hearing him make those types of statements where he had not made them before. But when she started bringing up Kathy, you start hearing those statements, and I started paying attention. I'm like, wait a minute. This made him nervous. They had something here. And if you just listen, slow it down, and really digest how Sonny's behavior is, not just the words he's saying coming out of his mouth. If you just listen to the change in his voice, maybe some of you might need to close your eyes. And when I first started doing this, I had to close my eyes and just listen. And you kind of hear him kind of, relaxed at the beginning of the thing. They're in there when the first story, you can hear how kind of relaxed he is. And he's talking, we got all the videos and, just nothing. Just really relaxed. And then it's like, okay, and then they start creeping into Kathy. And then you feel Sonny start pulling back a little bit. Just a little, subtly. And then you start hearing, we can't tell, talk about everything, and you start hearing him make those statements. So that tells me, and I'm teaching you guys this because this is the cues that tells me that there's something there with Kathy Bowersox. I feel like there's something there with her being up at Warsham's. I feel like Sonny knew she was. Oh, he let her talk. He like I said, he knows how to hold him and know to fold. I've met a lot of, I love even good old boys. I wouldn't be, if it was Sonny in charge instead of this, Sheriff Snuggle Struggles, there would not, half of this crap wouldn't even have happened. I could guarantee that. The Sheriff Snuggle Struggle is, in my opinion, young. And when you deal with too young of sheriff, you deal with a very pompous. And not only that, but if you look at the body makeup of the sheriff, he's smaller. He's not as thick or well built out as some of the other sheriffs, so that gives him more of that arrogant Neapolitan type of complex, which we are accustomed to seeing in figures like that. And in important, I'm very, I try to be as honest as possible because and people talk about me. I'm a short person. You guys see how my attitude is. Okay, there's something with short people and attitudes. I'm sorry, there just is. You can say it's stereotyping. Okay, you can say it's stereotyping. I think redheads are crazy. I might be stereotyping. Is there a good redhead out there? Sure there is. I'm friends with good redheads. But the majority of redheads, and even my friends, are a little crazy. Okay? You might want to deny it because you might be a redhead and you'd be like, oh, Betty, how dare you? As you're turning around and throwing a pot at your child. No, I'm just joking. In my opinion, that witch is fucking crazy. Yes, I know. Yeah, she is. She is. So, and not only that, she pounded on. Seth was her first husband. Okay, we can identify that redheads. That redhead at least is crazy. Okay, not stereotyping. Stereotyping comes from experience. Listen. My cousins are redhead. I've got a lot of cousins that are redhead because of the Irish part of my side. So, like my dad's side of the family really is like the Heinz 57. On my dad's side of the family, we have like the Irish, and we have like the Hispanic, right? So it's Irish and Hispanic, So you're either come out with dark skin or you come out with fair skin. I was lucky. My family was lucky. I think it was the other, like my uncle, they had the redheads. Thank God, guys, I could have been a redhead. Okay, I just want to let you know, it was a toss. But now I have fair skin. But if I go out in the sun, I get burnt, but then my skin turns brown. I like my skin like that. I mean, I do. I go out, I'll burn it. I'll burn my skin. I'll stay out there, burn it. I'll come in here, take a hot shower. Within a day or two, that turns into a dark brown. I'm good. Occasionally it might peel. Sometimes it will. Sometimes it won't. I know, Pebbles. Everything's so bad. And I know he's got to be coming to grips with, I mean, he hasn't been seen in like 2 years. I mean, and you see how callous and cold the mom and the stepfather seem to be. It seems like they're almost rubbing it in everybody's face and flaunting it as much as they can that they did this and got away with it. That it's got to be rough for him, and all he wants is his son back. And I think that's the one thing that we're never going to be able to give him is his son. And that's got to be hard. I know it wears on me. It's worn on me for the last year and a half. And we went through a battle over this child here. We went through a battle with the creeps that did this to him. And we're not even through it yet. We still got a lot of fight left in us over this, but it's still not going to bring us any closer, They're going to have to go forward. They're going to have to charge Chris and Katie without a body. I mean, they just are going to have to. They're going to have to figure it out. All over this country, we have circumstantial cases. If they fail to get what they needed for a circumstantial case, well, then they need to come out and tell the public that. And they just need to wear it and deal with the public outcry and backlash from it. But the way we're all looking at it, the only people that are saying this is active is them. There's no proof that this is active. They're not out there searching for this child. Layla Santanella's case is active. You know what? Every time I turn around, Kingsport Police Department is out running searches trying to find Layla. They actually believe she may have went over to state lines. I think they might even have been able to get the FBI involved in part with that case. They've been working that case. This case has not been worked. This case got 7 days or 8 days of searching, and then after that searching, they shut it off. They got pissed off at the world, and they punished Seth and punished the case because they don't want to deal with it. So professional there in Sumner County. So professional. They feel bad for the father, but just not willing to do anything for him. You know? Meanwhile, they've got managers and supervisors from the county meeting and having lunch with Chris and Katie, somebody that I believe murdered a child and buried a body, basically, the proverbial body, the bag of bones. Katie wouldn't have been able to get rid of Sebastian. Only Chris has the stomach for that shit. Only Chris has the stomach for that. Katie's crazy. She might do some stupid shit. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's Chris that always cleans up her mess. He gave her an ultimatum. She gave him an answer. He gave her an ultimatum, and she gave him an answer. And then all of a sudden, he's back home. All of a sudden, Chris is back home. Just like that. Just like that. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Let's see, what else are we waiting for? I think that's it. We're just waiting to hear some more information. What is known? She was bored. We can't figure out who she traveled with. There's no. I will tell you. I have looked, and I couldn't find any articles that stated who she was on this trip with. So I know that somebody in my prior live said that it was her family she was with, which seeing an image of her being on a cruise in May, that does seem like it would hold water. So there is a good possibility she was on this cruise with her parents. But I cannot find any sources or resources out there anywhere on the internet that states specifically who she was on this cruise with. So she was aboard the Carnival cruise, and the voyage was from Miami to the Caribbean. Her family had issued a statement about her death and the ongoing investigation, and news outlets state the cause and details of her death remain unreleased. There's no publication reports that she was traveling alone, with family, friends, or a group. So we still have no confirmed. We do have speculation. People are saying she was with her family, but nothing confirmed by the family or by media. No information has been shared publicly about the cabin companions, travel party size, or whether she joined the cruise as part of a larger group. We don't know that. Because the investigation is ongoing and details are limited, many specifics are being withheld by authorities and the cruise line. So I'm constantly checking to see if we have any updated information. I did just want to run this story. Craddock shouldn't be at this case because of his friendship with the suspects. I agree. I think they should have handed this off to another, because usually if there is some level of friendship or something that say like a judge should recuse themselves, usually they can call in another investigative body. Usually it's the state, it's TBI. They hand over the investigation to TBI to run the investigation because of the potential bias and other stuff that would look bad if they ran the investigation themselves. But they failed to do that. And they still, just in my opinion, listen, I wouldn't be as hard on this law enforcement body if we weren't coming around 2 years and they still haven't done one isolated search anywhere in that county. And if they have, why would they fail to tell public that they're still searching for a missing boy? They haven't done it. That's why. They haven't done it. And Sebastian deserves more than 8 days searching for him. He deserves so much more. Even going over the same search area. I thought they were going to go over that area again when the stuff blew away, or they could get to it, or some things were too cold. I thought they were going to go back and do other spot searches in other areas. They just did a once over
5-mile radius. When they got through that, even if they went back and did spot areas at that time at certain locations, they didn't re-grid the entire path that they did. They didn't redo it. They haven't redone it. They haven't been out there. They haven't been searching. They have not done a damn thing to move this needle and find this boy. If they truly believe he's out there, why would they just sit on their ass and not even be in those woods for years looking for him? It doesn't make sense. If they believe he's out there, where's the searches? At this point, they should have some idea to search a heavily searched area and take some dogs out there, take some canines. Nothing. They've done nothing. They got pissed off at people like me. They got pissed off at people like Seth, the father, and they stopped caring. They're pieces of shit. I don't like corrupt counties. I just don't. I don't like corrupt counties. And let them go ahead and keep being silent and keep being friends with the people that most likely murdered this kid and got rid of his body. But hey, they're smarter than people like Bullhorn Betty. They're so smart. They're so smart. Perfect. Perfect almost. These perfect parents that have all these horrible allegations from their own son. And there's not a damn thing law enforcement can do. And by the way, they won't even get off their own damn ass to go out and search for this kid. Brandon Carter, do better. Do better. That's my message to you. Do better. Quit being so freaking lazy. Quit being so freaking lazy. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. We will be picking this up on our main show, but I didn't want to run a main show because I told you guys when we came back on the channel that we'd have the green screen fixed, and I got frustrated trying to fix the green screen. So there's that. Just saying. We might be vertical for a lot longer than we expect because I don't like glittering on my show. All right, guys. Have a great day. See you soon.